The oboe is tuning, the maestro is ready, the livestock assembled is nervous and sweaty. Observe my aging horny friend Misha, who treats the whole choir like a carnal audition. He's openly whispering down to his friend which of the baritones he'd like to bend. Right over the harpsichord after the show, he's picked out a favorite in the second row. He's sitting adjacent to a furious girl, spinning a poorly permed lock of frizzy curls. She heard the word oral in oratorio and dressed for a highly illicit and glorious action, expecting a cabaret filthy and breezy. And Handel's chorus makes her profoundly uneasy. The overture proves the evening is sans resident of Harry and Connick, a suitable precedent. Deprived of the promised and genital majesty, she's twirling her perm in a state of tragedy. She thought she was coming for absolute sin, and now she's enduring a violin. Behind her, a gaggle of Spanish attachés are treating the box like a loud cabaret. They only know Handel from biblical lore, and frankly they're finding this secular a bore. And passing a flask of a pungent Iberian, judging the cellist like some cheap plebeian. They're waiting for Jesus to make an appearance, with zero regard for acoustic adherence, which triggers a Vivaldi fan in the center, who's furiously tapping his foot to invent a percussive backbeat that does not quite befit the gentle adagio him will never acquit. He's sending a structural localized tremor into the stiffly rigid spine of a Carnegie member who is of high society, yet up in the balcony a cheapskate complaining of musical alchemy. She paid $50 to sit in the rafter and screams that the hall is a sonic disaster. What else observed we? Let us demonstrate. Then Sammy, dropping his optical instruments, sending binoculars crashing, then prostrates to retrieve his old opticals to my merriment. To remedy this, he commits a transgression and pulls out an iPhone to light the messy rows of dirty floorboards, illuminating then all the... Let's see, what do we see? The man who refuses to blow out his mucus and swallows the load like the world's worst Eucharist, with wet and percussive internal acoustics. The banker attempting a pocket swiping to short sell the euro while secretly typing, ignoring the strings for his market dramatics. The sophomore waving an arrogant baton, convinced he's a maestro his parents have spawned. Two beats off the soloist, ruining the high. The patron whose Apple Watch luminous dial is lighting up half of the orchestra aisle with news that his husband is blowing the doorman at 3. The narcoleptic who violently snorts, awaking himself from the sleep he aborts, and nods like an idiot to no one's consent. The patrician adjusting his hearing aid knob unleashes a feedback, a localized sob so piercing as maestro seeks God's dissent. A tourist who mouths the Italian translation in beatified rapture, religious elation. He's repeating the syllable shoo with attention. The gentleman lowering zipper so slowly the buzz of the teeth makes the aria holy through 25 minutes of pure auditory pain. A couple's conducting their marital fight by rolling the program and swinging with spite across the adagio with mutual disdain. Let us stop now and comprehend that in heaven George Frideric, watching in love, turns to his colleague and says with a sigh, after 290 long years, oy vey, or something stronger. So here's Alexander's feast, y'all silly girls. And in heaven George Frideric, watching in love, turns to his colleague and says with a sigh, after 290 long years, oy vey, or something stronger. So here's Alexander's feast, y'all silly girls. That's all, yo. Many hugs and kisses. Don't even